Guard with jealous attention the public liberty. Suspect everyone who approaches that jewel. Unfortunately, nothing will preserve it but downright force. Whenever you give up that force, you are invariably ruined. This was Patrick Henry in a speech on June 5 of 1788. Now our next speaker is going to be the president of the Harrows of Patrick Henry. His name's Casey Runyan. He's here to talk about the militia and background checks, as well as introduce a few initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, Casey Runyan.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? I want to give a handout to the 3 percenters and Oath Keepers, the security team for the Sugar Pine Mine. I spent a total of 4 days down there. I wish I could have spent longer down there, but I put some time in, and things were pretty interesting down there. I'm glad that we were able to intervene between us and the BLM and protect the property owner's claim. I want to talk to you today about the Second Amendment. I also want to talk to you today about Article 1, Section 27 of the Oregon State Constitution, and also going to talk to you about background checks. We have some initiatives, some ballot initiatives that we're going to be introducing, and they're going to be statewide initiatives. So it doesn't matter what county or district you live in, you're an Oregonian, you're going to sign these initiatives. So we want to know what, I don't have very long of a cord here. I don't want to talk about what somebody else has already talked about. So what do we know that these rights that we hold true, these self-evident rights, these inalienable, self-evident rights that cannot be taken away by any man or any government? The Constitution does not grant rights. I'm going to say that again. The Constitution does not grant rights. The Constitution protects, it codifies, it hedges rights that already exist and have been given to us by God from government, safeguards those rights from imminent government abuse and overreach. Overreach that they've already done on Senate Bill 941 and other attempts that they have had on our liberty in the past. Contrary to what some politicians say and what some people believe, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is absolute. I don't care what anybody else thinks. The Constitution is absolute. There is no way around that. So what does that mean? What does absolute mean? It means something that is not dependent upon external conditions for its existence or for its specific nature or size. It is free from restriction and never to be limited in any form. The Bill of Rights, it enshrines our liberty. It enshrines that sacred liberty. It safeguards the individual and not the perverted notion that we are a collection or a collective group. So, what does the Second Amendment mean? What does Article 1, Section 27 mean? Well, I'm going to tell you what it means. Each short sentence, each short group of words in the amendment is a clause. The militia clause, the security in a free state clause, the people clause, the keep and bear arms clause, and the shall not be infringed clause. A well-regulated militia. What does that mean? Citizens who band together in times of emergency to form an army of irregulars. That's the militia clause. Being necessary to the security of a free state. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it does not mean the state of Oregon. It does not mean the state of Washington. It does not mean the state of California. Nor does it mean the state of Texas or any state in the Union. The free state is the state of being free. It's a state of mind. Not a state of the union. Liberty is a state of mind, the state of being free. How else do we secure liberty but with the freedom to form a militia to defend the state of being free? The right of the people, citizens, us, every single one of us, every person in this country, every free man and women of fighting age. George Mason, the co-author of the Second Amendment, said, "I ask, sir, what is the militia? It is the whole people, except for a few elected officials. To keep and bear arms, the arms clause. Arguably, any unclassified weapon equal to that of the military. Own an F-18. I want to own a 105 millimeter howitzer. I have the right to own a 105 millimeter howitzer. I'm sorry, government, you don't have the right to tell me I can't. But for the past 100 or so years, they believe that they do.
Hey, you get those things, I want to live next door to you.
Gav, I would be more proud and honored to have you as my neighbor. Shall not be infringed. The infringement clause. Shall suffer no dilution. Dilution, what is dilution? Dilution is when we put water in a jug of ammonia to clean our windows. Dilution is when we put water in a half bottle of whiskey so a bartender can sell more of it. That's dilution. Shall suffer no dilution upon which civilian capability to thwart tyranny may hinge. The government has no right to handicap us from succeeding against a battle with the government, the military. But they are. They're limiting us to handguns and rifles and shotguns and whatever small arms, which the UN wants to take away from us, by the way. Article 1, Section 27. What is Article 1? Article 1 is the Oregon State Constitution, Bill of Rights. Section 27, the right to bear arms. The People Clause, the Bear Arms Clause, the Defense of Themselves in the State Clause, the Military Clause, and the Subordination Clause. The people, the citizens, again, we're the people, shall have the right to bear arms. Again, arguably any unclassified weapon equal to that of the military which can be wielded by any individual citizen for the defense of themselves and of the state. Arms to be used for your self-defense and defense of the state of Oregon. But the military, the Oregon National Guard, possibly, and the U.S. military shall be kept in strict subordination to the civil power, shall remain under the authority of the collective power of the people of the state. We, as the people, hold a collective power over the military. Background checks only serve one purpose. They blanket suspicion over all people who wish to buy a firearm, by default turning innocent until proven guilty to guilty until proven innocent with no due process required by the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution. Background checks are one of the country's most long-standing frauds and acts of rights violations in the nation's history. And they can continue to say, well, we're keeping guns out of the hands of bad people. That's great. That's a great lie that you've told us for however many years since Sarah Brady and her husband wanted to make background checks mandatory because she got shot by some psychopath who was trying to impress some actress, whatever. If these people are so dangerous and we're trying to keep their firearms out of their hands, tell me this. Why are they within? Why are they with us? Why are they in society? Why are they being released from prison if they're so dangerous? If we're trying to keep guns out of their hands, wouldn't it make more sense to keep them away? They need more votes. They want to control us. They're using these lies as excuses. Instead of focusing on legislation that handicaps and impedes on our liberty, infringes on our liberty, why don't we focus on legislation that tightens the recidivism and the judicial justice system? We're not doing that. We're trying to restrict our right to a firearm instead of what we need to be doing is focusing on recidivism. Because guidelines, for one, guidelines are allowing these violent offenders among us. They really shouldn't be. And two, if they're not dangerous, which a lot of them are not, they're only first-time offenders, and for something that is so asinine it shouldn't have went to prison in the first place, they should have their rights back. Amen. Even if they have a felony on their record. Their rights need to be returned to them a lot faster than the 15-year guideline per the state of Oregon. 15 years. 15 years. If you're falsely accused of something and you're convicted of it, you're not going to have your right to bear arms again for 15 years. That needs to change. So I'm going to bring up a couple of people right now. I'd like to introduce to you Brandy Hawkins and Rob Rowe from the heirs of Patrick Henry. Go ahead and set that down. Okay.
Hi, I'm Brandy Hawkins. I'm the secretary of the heirs of Patrick Henry. I do mundane things. I take notes, I organize, I herd cats, and I take roll. Nobody took roll today. So if you hear your party call, just shout, hoot, oorah, whistle, or otherwise let us know you're here. We the people. We the people. This is about you and me and us. We the people. It is time to change, right? So the heirs of Patrick Henry have been busy. We're going to have a busy summer. We're going to need you. What we're going to be doing is we're working on several ballot initiatives that we're going to roll out, hopefully for the 2016 election. So what is important this year, Oath Keepers, 3%, anybody who's here, or attack, all of you, it's going to be important to get out the vote. Get to we the people and remind them they are we the people. So one of the first ones is, how do I get rid of that? This would have been good this last year. The requirement of a general election within 3 months of the resignation or removal of an elected state official. The purpose of this is it would allow the people to choose replacements rather than having them appointed by existing politicrats. We the people, we can do this. Casey?
Number 2, institution of the office of Lieutenant Governor, something that Oregon has never had. Oregon is the only state that does not have a Lieutenant Governor. It would have been helpful. It would have been helpful, but that is the Oregon State Constitution. Lieutenant Governor has never been in the Oregon State Constitution, but we're going to change that. At least try. Purpose, to create accountability within the governor's office, the administration branch of the state of Oregon.
For we the people.
For we the people. Okay. That's the one I wanted to introduce. Oh, you want? Okay. Senate redistricting. 1 senator per county.
Yes. Yes.
What was the name of it?
You know, me, Portland, brother, this area.
Okay.
People's state.
The purpose, this is going to allow the 2.5 million people outside of Multnomah County to have a voice.
Yes.
There are 10 Senate districts for the Portland metro area. This has got to change.
Yes.
For the people. For the people. More closely matches the federal model. This way, the marble house behind us has representatives in population and geography.
Number 4, term limits of 2 terms for all State of Oregon elected officials. Why is that important? Cronyism, there you go.
Career criminal.
Career criminals, right. In the end, it prevents the consolidation of power to any one group of long-term politicians. And it saves money in the long term.
Yeah, this is a good one. Now keep in mind that a lot of these are constitutional changes, which is going to make a lot more work. So again, get ready to get out the vote, okay? Any law that would infringe on any constitutional right must be voted on by the people before enacting. So this emergency clause that says because you know what is happening and so many people are getting guns illegally all of a sudden that it's an emergency, all that does is it keeps it out of your hands. It keeps you from having a say in it. So let's get rid of that, and let's say if you want to change any constitutional right or infringe on any constitutional right, you put it before the people of the state of Oregon. We, the people, will make that decision. The purpose, again, is to take the power to reduce our liberty out of the hands of politicians, to eradicate the misuse of that emergency clause that prevents voters from having a say in the formation of laws. The heirs of Patrick Henry is going to work nonstop, tirelessly to make these things happen, but we're going to need your help. It's going to be critically important that we get out the vote in 2016. It's going to be critically important that we get all these signatures on all these initiatives.
I turn out in the other counties.
These are all statewide. And that's where we start. That's where heirs start. There is a lot you can do on a local level. Get to know your county commissioners. Get to know your city politicians. Get involved. Sit down with your sheriff.
That's right.
If you haven't sat down with your sheriff, sit down with your sheriff. He needs to talk to you because he represents who? Exactly. If we can help you, if you're in a county that maybe is a little isolated, needs a little coaching, follow us on Facebook. Find Heirs of Patrick Henry. It's our mission to help educate you, to help educate your county, to help educate the people so we can take this back. Thank you.
I have one more thing. I'm supposed to make an announcement for everybody. Sky Fitzgerald, the gentleman that assaulted our friend William Saunderson, laughing at liberals.
Broke his arm in 2 places.
Broke his arm in 2 places. His arraignment is on June 8th.
Amen. It'll be in downtown Portland.
Downtown Portland.
And they announced the court time on June 7th.
They announced the court time on June 7th.
This guy broke Laughing at Liberals' arm in 2 places. He's the guy who runs Laughing.
Just so everybody knows, that arraignment.
And we want to pack the courtroom. He's a gun control advocate. He violently assaulted him and broke his arm in 2 places. So if people could please come downtown Portland on June 8th, and we'll announce it on KYKN and KUIK on the 7th for people to come.
All right, you heard him. That's the heirs of Patrick Henry. All right, this next speaker is a favorite.